So we are in the book of the Ramchal, Sefer Klalim, the Kabbalah of the Ramchal, and he says that we have to work on the Tikkun of the world, right? So we spoke about the shattering of the vessels. We spoke about those 7 kings that died and fell down, and we spoke about the sparks, which is basically the light that comes down with the broken vessels to sustain them, to give them the possibility of rising up afterwards. All of that is waiting for us to complete the Tikkun. And that's a very, very important thing to remember in all what we do, that we have to have that intention of bringing the completion of the Tikkun of the world. Whatever Hashem started, the Tikkun of those broken vessels, He gave us the mission of completing it. And that's something that we are involved with since day one of the creation. So, how do we do that? So the Ramchal says that we have to understand how Hashem did it, as much as we can. How much can we understand of what Hashem did? But we have to try to understand what Hashem did and basically to emulate that direction, to continue with the same process, right? So what was the way that Hashem did this Tikkun? So the Ramchal is pointing on the concept that is called Machshava Alyona. What does it mean, Machshava Alyona? The higher thought, higher intellect. And this is like the spiritual machinery, spiritual technology, I don't know how to call it, to describe it, that is processing those broken vessels and fixing them. And the way to do that is by sorting out first between the good and evil. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So we say, הייתה כוונה בהם רק לעשות ביטול הנמצאות. Meaning those 7 kings, they were existing, they were within the existence, and when they died, they got to a certain nullifying their being, right? And then after that, with that point of Machshava Alyona, the upper thought, that brings back, but in the correct way, in the balanced way, the existence of those Sfirot, those 7 lower Sfirot. Okay? So what does it mean for us? Let's give an example. Somebody that he have a problem of anger, for example. So that's a certain negative aspect that creates a breakdown. Okay? So there is place that anger can be used, obviously in a very, very delicate way, but there is a place that anger can be used. But generally, anger is a negative thing. So it creates breakdown. So the person gets to a point that he is broken. He says, like, how can I continue like that? Getting angry on people. Everybody hates me because I'm getting to those points of anger and so on, whatever it is. Gets to a point of breakdown, right? And then to build himself from that point to a place that he will be balanced, that he will be able to deal with life without anger, without those negative emotions. This is, in a certain way, an application of being involved with the Tikkun of the world. Because when anyone that is working on his own Tikkun, to fix his character in the right way, according to Torah, obviously, is basically doing his share in the global tikkun of the world. Right? So, how do we do that? This is the concept of the machshava alyona, the upper thought. Meaning, we have to learn how to use the same machinery that Hashem have used for the process of the tikkun. So what does it mean, that upper thought, the machshava alyona? Basically, we have our regular level of intellect, what we are accustomed to use in our everyday life. And there is a higher level of intellect that is, in a certain way, we can describe it as inspiration. That for most of the people, that's like a level of that is above them, that is giving them like inspiration sometimes when they have inspiration. But the point is that we can connect to that place of that source of inspiration, which is part of our being, just a higher level of our being. So to be able to connect to that place and bring from there the strength of sorting out between the good and evil, which is, again, the basic practice of how to do the tikkun, of the breakdown. And that is by learning the Torah. So, back to this example of someone that is dealing with his anger, where would he get the inspiration of getting over his anger? It should be done with Torah sources. So then he's basing his inspiration on Torah sources, so he's putting himself in the right line, that the inspiration will be coming from Hashem. Meaning Hashem is revealing to us, human beings, His desire, His will, in the Torah. And when we are learning the Torah with this right intention of being involved with the Tikkun and getting the inspiration of how to do the Tikkun of ourselves, of the world, this is a way of also connecting to Hashem, also connecting to the higher levels of our being, also to get inspiration, to get strength to do the right things and to avoid negative things. And all of that, the result of all of that, is to get to what is called Tikkun Olam, Tikkun of the person himself, the individual, and the Tikkun of the global. So Bezrat Hashem will have the blessing of doing it all in the right way and putting ourselves to Hashem's will. Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen.